it's not just here in Berkshire. There are flooding problems across the south and the Midlands. The Environment Agency says the River Severn is rising faster than expected, with large parts of Worcester city centre already underwater. There are 44 flood warnings down the length of the river. And a 10-mile section of the busy M2 in North Kent has been closed after a huge 15-foot sinkhole opened up in the central reservation. Urgent safety checks are now being carried out, as officials said, rather obviously perhaps, it was lucky the hole hadn't appeared in the middle of a carriageway. Well, earlier, I took a boat trip along the swollen River Thames to the very heart of the crisis. The River Thames is now so ill-defined that only boats with the shallowest of drafts can be used. The Queen is in her castle, the water's not in her river, and boy, it's everywhere. In Windsor itself, new build is feeling the wet big time. Some of these are for rent. What chance after this inundation? And then we're out on the open river that just opens and opens and opens. At Old Windsor, the lock gates won't open at all. All the sadder for Gilly Bolton, whose dream home is under torrential siege from the overspill. She has just 18 sandbags to defend herself and her home. Her husband has been admitted to hospital. She's battling on alone.
On Sunday, we were told that the levels were going to rise by another foot. I measured where it was and decided that it was definitely going to flood inside the house.
Inside, the waters are 4 feet deep at her front door and seeping under the bed in her room at the other end of the house.
Gilly! Who's Gilly? Who's Gilly?
Outside again, and miraculously, the men from the Environment Agency have arrived. What are the prospects of any more sandbags?
I've been waiting for 2.5 days for sandbags, and we've received 60 on the island for use for 100 people. Okay. How is 60 going to help 100 people,
may I ask? It will not help. All I can do is make a phone call, which I'll do in a minute, to Gulf Control.
The Environment Agency were down yesterday, and I was promised that something would be done, and nothing but nothing has happened.
I will not leave here, Gilly, until sandbags arrive.
Later in the afternoon, we venture into the heart of Datchet. I don't think this is going to be running for a few days, maybe longer. The line from Paddington on to Windsor is up to my knees. Poor Windsor joins Devon's Dawlish in the waiting room of the Cut-Off. Domenico grabs us in the town centre and insists we must visit Little Venice. For all the water, we might be there already. Domenico's family have run their Little Venice restaurant for 15 years. If we were in Venice, we would understand this because it happens regularly, but not in Datchet.
That's the thing. In Venice, it's a regular occurrence. In Datchet, it's not. But not enough has been done to prevent what has happened here this morning, here today.
With my boots overwhelmed, I sheepishly accept a lift in a canoe towed by a stranded schoolboy. Back on the river, is it a river? We pass Eton, bucolic Eton, waterlogged Eton. It was the Duke of Wellington who said that the Battle of Waterloo was won on the playing fields of Eton. Well, Eton may have produced many prime ministers. This one has the misfortune to be presiding over those very playing fields beneath these waters. On the other side of what was the river, what was the park? Finally, the sun is on her castle, but there's much worse rain to come. Her Majesty may be tempted to send for Canaletto. Well, now, just some great news. Let's hear it for the Environment Agency. Jerry lived up to his promise. He stayed there, and tonight, Gilly has her sandbags.